to Leaders Talks. I am Mandy, founder of LeadAvant AI. On this series, we speak with leaders who are building, leading, and solving real problems in business. Today, we have Jill Lucien, founder of Easy Process Pro software. Jill stood out to me because her work is focused on a very real problem for furniture store owners. How do you grow the business without being chained to the day-to-day? A lot of store owners want more sales, more profit, better inventory, stronger teams, and more freedom. But behind the scenes, they are often dealing with disconnected systems, manual work, unclear processes, and too much depending on the owner. What I find powerful about Easy Process Pro is that it helps furniture store owners bring their operations into one connected system. Point of sale, inventory, accounting, reporting, delivery, e-commerce, and more. And after more than 20 years in the industry, with billions of dollars in furniture sold through the platform, Jill has a very practical view of what actually helps store grows. So Jill, I am excited to learn more about your journey, the work you're doing with Easy Process Pro, and what other business leaders can learn from your experience. Again,
thank you.
Thank you so much for joining me. Jill, let's start with your personal journey. How did you get to where you are today, and what led you to build Easy Process Pro? Was there a specific problem you kept seeing with furniture stores that made you feel like this software has to be existing?
So we're talking about 2000 when Easy Process Pro was the inception of Easy Process Pro. I grew up in the furniture retail business. And for the first 7 years of my life, my parents were 9-to-5ers. They had corporate jobs, regular, everyday modern America jobs where my dad went to work and he came home, did homework with me. I was a young kid. This is before the age of 7. And I would say I had a beautiful family life. And then my parents decided to open a furniture business and they became entrepreneurs. They got divorced at the same time. And my dad remarried and I split time between both places. Needless to say, what ended up happening is my dad threw himself 100% into his business and his life. And now I'm the oldest of 6, but at the time it was me and my sister and then a brother that came into the family from the new marriage. And our parents were never home. What ended up happening is as they had children and the family grew, it became my responsibility to care for the children. So when I met my husband, my youngest siblings were 1 year old, right? So ultimately, what ended up happening is I wanted nothing to do with the furniture business. I resented it. I grew up having to go there every day after school and spend my time there. I learned to be an amazing business person, but I had no childhood. So I wanted nothing to do with it. When I was ready to go away to college, I was like, I'm done. I don't want to be in this industry. I am not going to work till 11 o'clock, 7 days a week. Done. University of Texas in Austin, and then I transferred to California. And needless to say, as I went through my college career, I was a person who came up in business. So I found that I was constantly arguing with my professors. I was constantly like, oh, I'm in business school. You don't understand business, And I was not the best of students there because I was constantly challenging them and the books that they wrote and so on. I went on to try to have a regular career and really realized I wasn't employable because I found the need at the age of 20 years old to keep telling people how to run their businesses, and they didn't really appreciate that. So ultimately, I ended up back in the furniture. So I was just like, fine, if I can't be employable, maybe I can clean up this family business. And, you know, my dad is a serial entrepreneur, but the day-to-day operations just, he's not that person. He's not organized and things like that. So I ended up coming back into the furniture industry and trying to buy systems. I bought tools. I was like, I still refuse to be here till 11 o'clock at night, 7 days a week. Like, that is just not my world. So I bought all the systems that existed in our industry. There are some that are very specific to our industry. And ultimately, it felt like they were designed by tech people, not really by people who lived this life, right? My story is, I'm sure you've heard this with a lot of business owners, but in the midst of all that, I was building a search engine at the same time as Google was releasing. It was just kind of a little tech like thing that my dad had an idea, I had an idea. And so that's what really brought me into the tech world a little bit, was like, I had this idea with him of building a search engine that was easy to use. Failed miserably, but I had one of my programmers and I was like, you know what? I can build a software that runs furniture businesses. Like, none of these tools are working. They don't get it, but I get the process flow. I get the information. I have a programmer. And why would I build it as a desktop tool, which is all that existed back in the day? Why would I not build it as something I can access from home so that I can actually be home with my siblings? I can allow my dad and my family to be home. So we built the first, and this was, my husband was actually involved by that point. He was my boyfriend. And in my journey, when I was living in California and working in the corporate world, I met my husband, and he has a tech background. And we had brought him in to help run the furniture business. And he was just like, this is ridiculous. Like, what is going on here is absolutely ridiculous. Long story short, we built this software as our solution for ourselves. And immediately we started seeing freedom. Immediately, this mess of a company that was making, believe it or not, $400,000 to $500,000 a week in sales, but still couldn't pay its bills at the end of the month, was now profiting. Because the system that we built started systematically, what I call closing the holes in the ship. So the holes are getting closed. We're no longer doing things like overpaying commission because we were doing it on pen and paper. We're not ordering things that we actually already have in the warehouse. We're not overpaying vendors for things we never ordered from them because we have record of those orders. We know exactly what we ordered from them and they can't overship us. We're not wasting time with delivering the wrong stuff to a customer and then having to go get it back. We're not losing money on advertising. We're getting repeat clients because they're happy and so it's like all these little bitty things of functionality all come together to make you more profit. But as you make more profit, you start to realize you can also buy back your time. And that is the key. That is the key in everything I do today as a software founder, because I'm no longer personally in the furniture industry. And that's the key that I teach to all my furniture retailers that are on my software, is you got to start buying back your time. Because your brain, your brilliance is being wasted on the $25 an hour tasks, taking a phone call from a frustrated customer, answering a question to one of your team members about what you have in inventory or what's on order or when the vendor is going to be shipping or when are you getting paid commission. And you end up feeling like you're chained to your business, right?
And you're drained.
You're drained and you can't think, you can't build, you can't grow. But the minute that you start having these systems in place, and they're your systems, you create, like in Easy Process Pro, we have this massive system settings. We make it so that you're telling the system how you want to run your company. It's just automating those things. And then it's creating analytical reports so that you can check and make sure all your team is doing their jobs without you having to physically be there with your hand on everything. So now your brain starts having this space to say, how do I grow? How do I evolve? Because you're no longer alone in it. You have this tool, and our team, we're very white glove, meaning we're holding your hand all the time. I just, right before this call, I was on a 2-hour coaching call with a client who's like, okay, I'm now live on the software. I want help organizing my operations department using the software. Like, I want to make sure I'm using it to its most efficiency. And when we got off the call, he was like, hallelujah, I feel so much better now. Like, this is awesome. It's taking those business owners and telling them, you don't have to have your physical fingers in everything for everything. Have some peace, take a step back, release, get that balance. So that was the origin, my history of kind of why we started Easy, because it was more of a never again.
It's a very inspiring story, actually. I'm impressed. So, Jill, for someone hearing about Easy Process Pro for the very first time, how would you explain what you help furniture store owners do? I know you touched a little bit about it.
So what we like to say is we take growth-minded furniture store owners and we help install processes, procedures, and automations in their company using technology to put more money in their bank account and more meaning in their life, right? So what we do is we systematically, that's the elevator pitch, right? Like, that's, you got 1 minute to tell me what you do. That's it. But ultimately, the way we do that is we analyze your business for all the holes. We call them profit leaks. We have a tool where we do an analysis of where all your profit leaks are. We install Easy Process Pro into your business and we get your team trained on it. And then we systematically start closing the holes so that your ship can sail. Because if you have holes, it sinks, right? So we systematically start analyzing the departments, because once you're making sales in the software, everything is rolling through the software. We can now analyze data and take that data and go, this is where we can help you create those efficiencies. These are where you're leaking money. And then because we're a total business solution, you hit on this right when you got on the call originally, the podcast was, we're the sales, the ordering, the receiving, the delivering, the accounting, the HR, the e-commerce, and it's one database in the center. And what that allows us is total transparency into the entire system. When you have a bunch of these standalone things that you're trying to make work together, you'll notice, like, I ran this through Claude the other day. Why don't we have our own accounting built into Easy Process Pro, right? But I have a lot of clients that'll come to us and say, I'm on this software and I'm using QuickBooks, and they never match up, right? Yeah. So I put it through Claude and I was like, why is that? Like, people always go, oh, I want a QuickBooks integration, but then they're never happy with the outcome. Like, they hate their software, they hate QuickBooks. And Claude came back with, you've just touched on the industry's dirtiest secret. They can't work together. And the reason why is the way that the data could never match up. The data is always going to be different. Even if you're pushing data to QuickBooks and pulling data back, you've got things that are always going to be off, like your asset values. QuickBooks can't know that you've only partially delivered this sale, right? And what the value of the items that haven't been delivered yet are still sitting out there. So therefore, your financials are off. Bottom line is, because we are that one database, right? It gives us a lot more power to help that retailer and help have accurate data for them to analyze. So that's really what we do. And then the hardest part of our job is to teach the owners, once Easy Process Pro kind of has got them, you know, we got you, dude. The hardest part is to teach them, now you need to step away and not be the bottleneck. You need to give space to your team and to your tool to let it change the world, because a lot of them don't even know how, right? Like, I asked my dad the other day, when is it enough? Like, when are you going to realize your company does $25 to $30 million a year? When is it enough to just go, I don't have to sit there in a desk every day and stare at my team or my computer screen, because you can access everything on your cell phone. You can be in Indonesia and check your numbers and make sure everybody's doing their job and stuff, because it's a web-based software. It's remote. So we're web-based, we're SaaS-based, and that's how we give them the freedom. Is we're saying the systems are in place, step away, let it do its thing, and then we teach you the reports you should look at to know everybody's doing their job.
Mm-hmm. So one thing that stood out to me from your website is the idea that store owner should be able to step away from the business and still have it grow. Why is that such an important problem to solve?
You become a bottleneck. Okay. I think we're all guilty of that, especially people who are type A personalities, high achievers. I'm sure you're one as well, right? Is that we want to control everything, or we think if we don't do it ourselves, it won't be done right. Or if we're not or if we're not watching every step of it, someone's going to screw something up, right? But the problem is that as a high achiever, you have to know how to delegate, right? Because there's only one you. But if you learn how to instill playbooks, processes, automations, now there's 50 yous, right? And you can choose what's your happy place. Is your happy place sitting in your backyard and getting that meditation so that you're fully capable of using the most powerful piece of you, which is your brain, to evolve and change your business? Or maybe it's that you want to do some things that are more altruistic. You want to donate your time and your energy to things that drive and motivate you, right? But stepping away clears the brain, right? So my husband and I, ever since we've left the furniture and been strictly, I mean, we're still furniture because we help our clients, but our own business is strictly software. We have a rule: 12:30 to 7 p.m. we will work. Okay. After 7 p.m. to 12:30 noon. Okay. It's because we wake up in the morning, we go for a walk, we work out, we read a book together, and then we dive into our business. Yeah, we love reading.
That makes me cry. This is a podcast.
the mornings are like us time, right? Because it's so easy as a business founder to not balance your life. And that balance is what makes you powerful. So we like to talk about body, being, balance, and business. There's 4, right? And if your health isn't good, body, your being, whatever you consider a higher power, isn't good. Yeah. Your family life isn't good. All that's left is business. And people tend to only be good at 2 at a time. It sucks. If you're only good at 2 at a time, that means when your family life is great, your business is failing. When your business is doing great, your family is failing. How do we get you to all 4? And that's being able to step out of your business and know it's still increasing in profits. And that's where the tools come in. We know the yellow brick road to get you to Oz, right? We know how to get you the road to get you there. We just need you to dive in, give us a little trust, and we'll lead you to where you're trying to go. And we ask clients, where do you want to go? I have a guy, the very first client, big client we ever had. He ended up having over 200 locations and sold his company for over $1 billion. But when he started with us, he had 4 small showrooms. And we always ask, what is your goal? What is your short-term and your long-term goal? So what do you want in the next year, 3 years, 6 years, and exit? What is your exit, right? He said, my first goal is to be home at night to read my baby a book. That's all he wanted. And we hear that so often. I have a family that they own. They now have a legacy of 19 franchises, but they only had one tiny, tiny location when they met us. And it was, I want to say, like 9 brothers and sisters that owned the company together. They were immigrants from Mexico. And all they wanted was to be able to go to Disney World together without the company falling apart. That was their goal, right? And now 8 years later, they have 19 franchises. And I believe that being a good business owner means you have to have all those 4 areas balanced, or something is going to fail.
Mm. It's all connected. I like how you put it together. And I saw that story actually. I was going to come to that. So, furniture stores have so many moving pieces: inventory, delivery, sales, accounting, e-commerce, and employees. How does better data and reporting change the way an owner makes decisions?
So I'll give you an example. The guy I just got off the phone with, his sales are down. Okay. He's a new client on Easy. He's only been on it for a month. But we were able to analyze how many customers came in. We've got that data, right? How many customers purchased, because we have that data.
Mhm.
Who did they purchase from? Which salespeople? And it compared all the salespeople and their percentages to each other, right? It had his average gross margins, right?
Mhm.
And when he told me his sales numbers were down, his sales numbers are actually up.
Mhm.
Analyzing the data, his sales, quantity of sales is up.
Okay.
His profit is down.
Mhm.
And why was his profit down? We had the data. His cost of goods went up because of freight and tariffs and things like that. But because he didn't have Easy Process Pro, Easy Process Pro will take your cost, it knows the cost, and it'll rebuild your pricing on your floor so that you're not underpricing, right? So it would have known about the tariffs and things like that. So we would have kept his profits stable, right? Because we're analyzing a month, but he's saying for the past year, his business has been down. It wasn't. It was his profits were down because he hadn't been marking stuff up properly, was one problem. The second problem was when I analyzed his salespeople, he only had 6. There were 3 out of the 6 that were constantly selling at a lower margin. You could just see when you compare for the past month, the gross margins by salesperson, they were these 3 on the low end. And I asked him, does your old tool have a way to tell me if that's consistent? He said, no. And I went, do you pay on commissions? No. And I went, well, there's your first problem. Like, if you're not paying commission on profit margin, they have no reason to sell things at a higher margin. And so then we were able to analyze, this is all bringing it together. What are they selling? And they were selling things called lost leaders. It's a way that retailers market their lower profit items to get customers in the door, right? And then the goal is once they get in the door, you don't want this cheap, crappy $300 mattress, right? Lay on the mattress options, right? I know you came in for the $300 mattress, but for $400 more and I can finance you, I can get you into a much better mattress, right? They weren't doing that. So when we looked at the items that were being sold, we were able to analyze his marketing because we were tracking that also, right? And his marketing was selling those items on it at a low margin, and the salespeople were not talking it up. So then we could solve the problem. Okay, we're going to switch your people. They're going to get a base plus commission. They're going to get commission on profit margin. Here's how we're going to bonus. Boom. That's just an example. I have other clients who have things like we're losing money on things such as our vendors are shipping us damaged items and we're never getting credits. So we can tell that by looking at your inventory and your damaged inventory and be like, why is that still sitting there? And cross-reference that to your payables. Where's all your credits? Why haven't you pushed the submit button to request your credits? It brings it all to one easy to see place. And there's so much more to it. Like on our calculators, our analysis, we typically see that there is easily about $400,000 a year that a $2 million a year business is just wasting. It's just going out the window. So right off the bat in the first year, we can usually increase the profits. And people don't think, honestly, Mandy, people don't think in terms of profits. That's the biggest mistake retailers make is they go, oh, I buy a mattress for $500 and I can sell it for $1,000. I just made $500 today. Do that 7 times this week and I made more than I was making in my 9-to-5 job. Why would I not? But they don't think about the overhead and the cost of operations and the cost of marketing and the cost of commissions and the cost of damage and the cost of the locations. And we force you to figure all that in. Our system automatically adds this percentage for your overhead because it's tracking all of that. So somebody just asked me today, if you could look at only one report, would you look at? And I said, because Easy Process Pro can do this, I would look at my daily income statement, accrual basis, because it's going to take your sales, take out all your taxes, all your voids, all your refunds, all your cost of goods sold, and it's going to give you that number. This is where you landed today. Because most retailers do the happy dance. We did $200,000 today, but they really only made 50, right? That brings that picture. I've had clients in tears when I've shown them that number. What are your goals? I want to reach $4 million this year. I'm at 3. I want to reach 4 million. I don't want to hear your revenue. I want to hear your profit number. Where do you want to reach in profit? Because that is what I'm forcing them to see.
How does Easy Process Pro usually get in front of furniture store owners who need this kind of solution? I know you said earlier that you get return customers mostly. If you wanted more of the right furniture store owners discovering Easy Process Pro over the next 6 to 12 months, what would be the biggest bottleneck?
Ultimately, right now, that is a brilliant question. And that is something that people in enterprise software struggle with because you're dealing with B2B, business to business. You're dealing with very stubborn business owners very often, very closed-minded, they're constantly putting out fires. So they don't try to find a solution to the fires. They may go, I know I need to find a solution to this fire. So they look into it, but then they go back to putting out the fires in their company and will spend more time putting out the fires than fixing it so the fires don't happen anymore, right? You know this, right? Yeah. So used to be that we were referral based only, honestly, because we had no real clue on how to reach our buyers. So we did such a good job and we had so many bigger accounts that they had a lot of team members that would talk about us, right? Then about maybe 7 years ago, we did do a couple of trade shows. So there's industry trade shows for our industry. So there's 2 that happen twice a year. So 4 a year that are the main big ones, Las Vegas and High Point. And there used to be a Tupelo and another one. So we used to do the trade shows, but not only are they physically exhausting to do and sit there, most of our big clients came from the trade shows. So don't get me wrong, but it is like pulling teeth to be there for 5 days and just, it's not efficient. It's not efficient, right? And it's costly. It costs us $20,000 every time we go to a trade show. So then we recently had a situation where we were hearing so many people say, your software is so much better than anything I've ever seen. And I've tried all of them. Why haven't I heard about you before? Stake in the heart. Like, oh, I've been in this 25 years and you just, So December last year, we hired a marketing firm. And we work with a marketing firm who's doing a ton of social media for us, a ton of Google paid ads. We're spending a lot. And we finally have people recognize our name. People are talking about us because we're just on it. That's probably even how you heard about us. We're literally like just out there now. But here's our problem. We're booking roughly 10 calls a week of people interested in the software. And they've seen the ads that say, get your life back. Most of them align with the story that I told you about my parents.
Okay, we're gonna get there. Okay, so Jill, I think this is gonna be my last one. For a furniture store owner who feels overwhelmed, stuck in the day-to-day and unsure how to grow without doing everything themselves, what advice would you give them? Because this is your specialty, actually.
I would say that you need to put aside some time, even if it means your doors are shut for 3 days of your business. And you need to find a tool, whatever that tool is, to solve your problems, because no longer do you have to have more humans, which cost you more money for the whole year, right?
Mhm.
Put a value. A good example is our system is between $500 and $850 a month, right?
Mhm.
Put a value on gaining or buying back that time. When you're looking at those tools and those solutions and evaluating them, that's not the time to cheap out and be like, I don't want to spend more than $50 a month, right?
Yeah.
My husband said this to me once. I was so guilty of the exact same thing. Oh, you want me to buy a tool and pay for some coaching? He wanted me to do this for my own company, right? Are you kidding? That's $5,000 a month. No. And he looked at me and he said, even if it's $1 million a month, if it's going to make us 2 million, why does it matter?
Absolutely.
And that is what I would say was the turning point in my own life.
Mhm.
I have completely bought back my time. I have an amazing team. I wouldn't have been able to be on this call with you a year ago.
Mhm.
Okay. I have an amazing team that runs everything. I have amazing tools for my own company in place because I took the time to research. I just put down everything and went, nobody bother me for a week. I'm going to research. I took the time to hire a coach. I spent the money to do those things. And I'm still spending the money, but you know what? For every dime I have spent, I 4x'd it. I've made 4 times that back. So that's what I would say is people get so stuck in their money scars, their financial scars.
Yeah.
Lay that aside because it's holding you back, and take a risk on yourself, because the right tools and the right coaches,
Mhm.
they can get you to amazing places.
Jill, before we wrap this, where can people learn more about Easy Process Pro or connect with you or your team?
I would say a great start is our website. It really does have a lot of information. So www.ez as in Edward Zebra processpro.com, right? So it's easyprocesspro.com. There's a button on there to schedule a profit leak analysis. It's free. We don't ask anything of you. We just want to help you figure out, are there even holes in your ship? And then from there, what happens is if you decide you want to take the next steps, then we'll demo the software. And then we hold your hand through the rest. And so they'll have access. All of our clients have access to all our coaches. I'm one of the coaches. Our legacy is making it so that another child never has to grow up the way I did. And so far, it's actually funny. We kind of laugh about it now because we're friends with all of our clients on Facebook and things like that. And we're like, they're never at the store. I want to be their kid, because one of them's on an airplane, that his own private jet now all the time. And he started really tiny. And another one's always at a golf course, and another one's always on a beach. And they literally send us pictures on their cell phone with a screenshot of Easy Process Pro from the beach in the lawn chair. And that feeds my soul. That is my everything. So I would just say, take that first step. And don't sell yourself short. Go look at the website, go see if it's what you need. Now we are big ticket retail. So if you sell candy or t-shirts or things like that, that's not our market. We specialize in people who need to order, receive, and deliver product, right? So thank you. I really appreciate you giving me the opportunity to share. I know I could talk for 4 hours, and probably you could too. And I'm really impressed with your company as well. So hopefully we'll be talking more.
Your story is inspiring. Like,
Thank you.
This is unbelievable.
I really appreciate you. And I'm so excited, like I said, to deep dive, to see this podcast and to really learn more because I personally, I'm 50 years old this year. I don't know if you've ever heard of the difference between a lifestyle business
Mm-hmm.
and a sellable business. And it doesn't mean you actually are trying to sell your business. It just means that you're no longer running the business just to pay your bills,
Yeah.
right? You're running it to have a company. You're not an employee of the company.
Mm-hmm.
You have an actual business, right? And I think that is so key in everything is to understand that difference,
Mm-hmm.
right? And this year is the first year I will say I personally have been able to take advantage of that mindset. And that's why when you ask me how we explain ourselves, growth-minded furniture business owners, those are the ones we can help. We can't help the ones that are just like, I want to be here and I want to sit here all day and I want to be in the same place in 5 years,
So Jill, this has been an incredible
Thank you.
conversation and inspiring on
Thank you.
all the levels. What I appreciate again is that your work reminds leaders that growth is not just selling more, it is also about having the right systems, processes, data, and people in place so the business can actually handle the growth. So I
Exactly.
think our audience will really appreciate your perspective on process, automation, inventory, operations, and building a business that can run with more freedom for the owner. Thank you so much again for
No
joining
problem.
One
I really
Leaders.
appreciate you, Mandy, and I hope to do more with you in the future.
Oh, I can't wait.
Take
Jill,
care. Okay. Well, I look forward to it. Thank you so much, sweetheart. I appreciate it.
thank you and
Have a
enjoy
great
the rest.
week.
You too.
And I can't figure out how to get off, so.
Me too.
All right. Bye.